Hello everyone and welcome back to the video of p5 coding. So in this video we're going to talk about another p5 function which is called the map function, and this function, if I talk, is a very important function. It will prove a lot helpful in many of our future activities. So in the last video I made another video about p5 functions where I talked about creating custom shapes. I talked about three functions: vertex, begin shape and end shape. So make sure to watch that video. That is uploaded on YouTube already, and I am going to make this new video about the p5 map function. So let's get started. Okay, so the map function. So map function is a p5 function which is used to remap a value range to another value range. So what do we mean by value range? This is something first we need to understand. So a value range could be a value range. Okay, I always try this formatics. Yeah. So value range coming is any range of numbers, like let's say 0 to 10. So it is a range of numbers which goes from 0 to 10. It will then include 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the way it will go till 10. So this is the value range. So the map function, as I said, maps a value of a value range to another value range which I will specify. So how does this function? So the map function will take a value, but we will learn it step by step. It will take a value in a value range. So this is a value range I've shown, and let's say I choose a number 3. Let's say. So the map function is going to get this number of a value range which is 0 to 10, and it is going to map it to remap it to another user specified value range. Let's say 0 to 100. So this is another value range I just specified over here. So the 3 was in this value range, and I am remapping it to a value range between 0 to 30. So what do I mean by mapping? So now number 3, if you see, lies in a position where 2 numbers are before 3. No, not 2, sorry. 3 numbers are before 3. We have 3 numbers before 3, and after 3 we have got 6 numbers: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got 6 numbers after 3, and 3 numbers before 3. And so this is the ratio. The ratio is 3 is to 6. 3 is to 6 is the ratio of this number 3's position. So this 3 is going to get mapped to the value which lies in the same ratio in this particular value range. So if I talk about this ratio in this value range, the number that will satisfy this will be 30. If you check that in this value range 0 to 100, I have 30 numbers before 30 and 60 numbers after 30. So let's remove all this explanation portion. So when I write map this 3 which lies in the value range 0 to 10 to 0 to 100, I will get 30. So the map function returns a number. So the arguments that the map function now take, I'm coming here, are the value that is in this case 3, value, the lower limit of the actual value range, that is 0 to 10, the lower limit, that is 0, the upper limit, and then my new user specified value range, that is capital L, that is again 0, and capital U, that is then 100. And if I then write result, so it returns a value. So I have not talked about return statements, but yeah, so it returns a value. That means it provides me the value. So it provides me value, so I need to store it in a particular variable. So if I like let result equal to map value, that goes from, okay, let's put the value. So it is 3, it is 0, okay, this is 0, this is 10, this is, okay, this is 0, and this is 100. So if I write this, I am going to get 30. So it is mapping 3 which lies between 0 to 10 to 0 to 30, and I am getting 0 to 100, and I am getting 30. So this is how the map function works. So let's try to implement this in p5.js web editor's code. Okay, so I'm back in p5. So I've got a function set up which is already provided in p5.js. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to have a canvas, and let's give it a of background 0. Okay, just a second. Let's just give it a background 0. Yeah, so you can see a 600 by 600 canvas, and actually it's way too big. So let's change it back to, I think 500 by 500 was better. Yeah, this is our canvas. So let me take I'm going to implement this exact same thing which I got in Word. So let me have a variable called value. And actually, why should we take this as global variables? There's no need. So I would better have value as a local variable in setup. So let's have a value that is 3, right? All done. Now let's have what's the problem? Yeah, let's have another variable, and we should call it result. Yes, and I think p5 is already a result function value, so I should change it to val. I think it will make it happier. So yeah, a result. So I will use the map function, which will now come to be. So let result equal to map value, which will go between 0 to 10 to 0 to 100. And then I can write console.log result. So what I should see is 30. There we go. You can see in the console, and I should just extend it up a bit. So you can see in the console, I've got 30. So exactly what I said here, the map function worked the same way. Now, let's look at other examples like 4. So I would get 40. Yes. For something like 3.9, I would get 39. Yes. And for 0, but the thing is, because 0 is the first number in 0 to 10, as well as the first number in 0 to 100. So it does not matter if I write 0, I am still going to get 0 as the result. But if I change it to 0.1, I'm going to get 1. Yes. So this is how the map function is functioning. Now this looks quite simple. I mean, without using the map function, I could just say that let result equals value multiplied by, I could just say this, and then I would probably get the same result. I would get 10. Well, it should be 10. Yeah, so I would get the same result, which is 1. So what is the use and utility of the map function? Well, this is the simple situation. Now let's say I have a more complex situation when I want to map value which will go between 0 to 10, let me just change back to 3, to between negative 100 and 100. And then the situations will become more complex, because then 3 lies. If I talk about 5, it will be 0. I can tell you 5 is going to be 0 because it lies in the middle of 0 to 10, and I am mapping here 0 to negative 100. I mean, 0 stands for negative 100 and 10 stands for 100. So it is going to get mapped like in a similar way. So 5 lies in the midpoint of 0 and 10. So I will get the midpoint, that is the middle section of minus 100 and 100, that is in turn 0. And then if I write anything more than 5, I will get positive numbers. And if I write anything less than 5, I will get negative numbers. And I am getting everything multiplied by, magnitude is getting multiplied by 20. This is because this is a value range of size 10 and this has a 200 size to it. So this is a more complex implementation of the map function. Now, let's say we can change it to 50, and then my 0 is getting mapped to 50. So if I'm writing 0, I would get 50 here. If I write 1, I would get 55 over here, because then for each number, for each integer between 0 and 10, I am getting 5 multiplied times, because this is size is 50 and this is 10. So this is how the map function basically works. Now, how could I use it in a code? How could we use it in code? Now, I could use some kind of an animation. Let's say, without animation, first let's come to the background. So background you can see is 0. Now I could say let color. Let's have a variable called color. Let's set it to 10. Let's set it to 1. So I could say color is a value. Color is a value and it is again a built-in function. So p5 is unhappy with me, so I should change the value of number, a variable. And then if I write that this is the number that goes between 0 and 10, and I want it to map it between 0 and 255, that is the actual brightness range. And then if I write background will be that color, then you can see that, okay, you cannot see, let me just change it to 5, and then you can see the difference. What? Okay, I've changed. Okay, this is the problem. I should have written result here. So you can see you're getting interesting values. For 1, now let me predict so that you can understand. So for 1, if I'm not wrong, I should get something like 255 divided by 10, 225.5. That is a little less. You can see the black value is a little less. Now if I change it to 2, I would get a more grayish color. So this is what you can do with the map function. Now let the color be set to 5 initially, and then let's have this entire code in the function draw. As the animation function, it runs everything repetitively a number of times. So let me remove the console log, and yeah, and then let's say that color goes up by 1, color goes up by 0.1, and then you can see, okay, it is color underscore. Now you can see the color, if I can see, will slowly turn white. Okay, why is it not happening? Just a second. Color plus equals 0.1. Okay, I should do this before the background function, and then, okay, pause. Okay, I am back after a bit of problems. So I have figured out what the problem is. I have not seen any solutions or something. Don't think about that. So what could be the problem? Well, I am every time in the function draw, I am initializing, I'm calling the variable here, and I'm initializing it to 0 here. So each time when the function draw gets executed, the color is set back again to 0. And an easy solution will be just like let color over here, let color equals 0, remove this particular line of code, and then you can see there, yes, you can see the color slowly and steadily turning back to white. Let me just slow down a bit, and you can see this color is slowly and slowly and slowly zooming out, shining and becoming white. So this is a simple implementation. Now I could say, instead of this, let's say without a background, let me then add, so okay, let's have just a plain background of 0, what is white, and then let's create a rectangle at the center. Let's create a rectangle, and let me just write rect mode center. I'm going to show you something with a rectangle. So rect mode is center. Okay, and then let's draw a rectangle then at 250 with 100, 1000 and 1000. Now we will see obviously a rectangle like there, right there, and I should just set no stroke. I do not want any stroke at this time, so let's remove the stroke, if any. Okay, here we go. So we got this rectangle. Now what could the map function help us? So let's map our mouse x, which is again a variable, a p5 defined variable. Let's map our mouse x. Now what is the range of mouse x? So mouse x goes from 0, which is this exact x-axis starting point, to width. That is the range of the mouse x, and let's change it to 0 and width to 0 and 255. That's fine. And then let's write fill, and let me change this to something like 100 so that you can see it in a better way, and let me write fill result. Then yeah, it's starting to black. Now as I move my mouse here slowly there, because the mouse x is the axis point here, then you can see the color of this rectangle is slowly turning white. Now y is not affecting it, but the color, if I move it in the x direction, is slowly turning towards this. Okay, example 2. Okay, it's a new second example. So you can see before you, I have written a text which shows using map function, then two smiley emojis at the center of the canvas. Now we could use a map function here as well. Let size, and I'm going to use the underscore, maybe there is a built-in function. Let size equal to some arbitrary variable, and let's set it to 20. And then I'm going to change the text size to have this variable which is size. Now let's use the map function. Okay, yeah. Let then size, I'm changing size, and I'm changing size after just I write this. So layer then size, I'm saying is map my mouse x again. I'm going to use the mouse x. I'm in a mood. Mouse x that goes between, what to say, goes between 0 to width to 20, and I'm going to start with 20. This is my initial map lower range. 20 to, let's say, 100. And then if I were to you can see the magic yourself. I'm going to change this to 50, and I'm going to change this to 15. Okay, and then you can see as I move my mouse in here, you can see the text is actually zooming because I'm changing the text size to get mapped to my mouse X position. Now just think, could you do this without the map function? I am going to leave this challenge to you, but nonetheless it is going to be a lot of code. So the map function is very useful in these kinds of situations. The map function could also be used to draw a data set and then draw a lot of graphs, a lot of pie charts with the data. And I'm going to use the map function for that purpose in some of my next videos. So that is a very, very useful advantage of the map function. One last thing I'm going to show you very quickly. Okay, so this is another interesting example which I prepared for you. So before running it, it is going to be very amazing. So let me just show you the code. So I have got a variable x and y. I've got the function set up on all these things. In the function draw, I'm drawing a rectangle and that x and y, and then I'm having a variable called x increment, which I'm mapping to the mouse x, which goes from 0 to width to -2 and 2, and then I'm increasing x by that x increment. And if I run this, you can see it is moving there, but if I move my mouse here, it is going to come there. Slowly I'm moving the mouse that side, it is then incrementing in there. If I move it here, it is decelerating, coming back. So this is like a drawing someone like of a situation. It can see I can just do the similar thing. Let me just copy this. Let me do a similar thing for my mouse y and my y increment, which will go between 0 to height then, and then let's change the y with a y increment as well. Now you can see it is a lot interesting, and is it seeing as if I am dragging this little rectangle. It will be more exciting if I could draw a line. Let's have a line of stroke 255 now, and stroke weight of 2, and let's draw a line between x and y and mouse x and mouse y. Let's see how it looks. I'm quite excited about this. Yeah, okay. So now you can see it is just like as if I'm drawing this, and you can see it's just like a physics motion. You can see that I'm drawing this little rectangle with my mouse in the direction I basically want. So this is more just a simple situation what you could do with map function. You can see this is a very well, it is looking quite nice, and if you can add more optimization to this, I could say it goes between 5 to 5, 5 and 5. Will increase the velocities, and then it could look more lively as if it is more obediently following this mouse pattern. So this is what I wanted to show you about map functions. You could then try your own experimentations. You could try to make your own variations, and you will find it very, very interesting using the map function. I hope you were able to. I'm putting it this top. Let's put it in the exact center. It's going to come to a pause very soon. Yeah, so what I was telling, so I hope you understood what I wanted to tell about the map function. You got to know the variations it can have on your project. And now before I leave you, I would give you another task which can also demonstrate properly what the map function can do. Okay, so this is the activity I prepared for you, and this is this. So you can see it is a kind of a battery which is slowly getting charged like this, and I have definitely used the map function in a much complex way to make this. And the second hint is that I've also used uh, custom shapes, and I've also used the random function. So try to make this. I'm going to provide the solution in the next video. Till then, goodbye and enjoy.